Hey there, Grace community. It's Tim and
Amy.
yeah, we're still here. We just wanted to reflect a little bit back on when this whole thing started 20 years ago.
What?
That's crazy. Not 20 years. Man, it's gone by fast. But man, those are some of the days that we look back on and say they were just so awesome. We still run into some of the kids who are now adults with their own kids from youth group, and we're so glad that we invested part of our lives in that, and especially in the evening of Amore.
Yeah, we'll never forget the very first one and all of our ideas and our hopes for the evening, and for sure we would say that the kids went above and beyond in their performances, in the talent show, and in the auction of the workers. And we had students serving dinner and taking care of babies in the nursery, and they did awesome. And then the donations from our guests were also above and beyond what we had hoped. So for us, it was an amazing evening, the beginning of something great, which we can't believe has been going on for 20 years.
It was just awesome. I remember as we went up to that first evening saying there's so many things that have to be done, and it wasn't, the leaders couldn't manage it all, and every single student stepped up to the plate, found the area they were talented in, and just all hit a massive home run. And it was neat to come together. It was really a very magical experience that night, to watch that happen. And you know, in some ways, how many things in your life go for 20 years? But thinking back to that moment in time, I can see how it's lasted this long, because it was built, it wasn't just an event, it was built off of relationships, love, community, and just really wanting to bring everybody together to celebrate the love in all of our lives.
So congrats to you, and we just have one more thing to offer.
Oh yeah. We got to do this. So for those of you that weren't around, I will want to let you know that whenever we would get a big donation, which I know there's going to be some big donations tonight, I would do my infamous C jump. So I know that donation's coming at any moment, and here it comes.
Hello, Grace community. Wow, 20 years of Amore. That means I'm very old. It's really hard to take. Ah, boy, good memories. The very first evening of Amore that I remember, there was a lot of talk about Tim Royer doing a C jump if he gets a number of donations. And I had no idea what a C jump was, so I'm really looking forward to this. There was a lot of build-up. Apparently he had done it in previous years. So, we got enough donations coming in, the bids came high, and he ended up doing a C jump, and I thought to myself, that was it? If that's all it takes to get high bids, hey, that's great. But more seriously, one thing I remember, and I can't remember if it was the first one we did or later on, but we had one of our students doing a painting up front during the evening of Amore. And then at the end, we bid it off. Somebody sold it or bought it. And that was actually a really meaningful time. Very neat to see her painting the whole time, but also it was a beautiful product. But we've always appreciated how much the congregation got involved with the youth during that event. It was kind of the one opportunity that we could serve the congregation, and the congregation could also help support the ministry. Very good memories.
Hello, my name is Chris Rookus. I was the youth pastor here for about 7.5 years, and I had a great time with Evening of Amore. We were, even as volunteers before that, we were involved, so I think I was a part of it for about 17 years. One of my least favorite memories was 10 years ago this week. I had played a role as Chris Farley in a skit, and in that skit I faked having a heart attack. And I still blame Mark McConnell for this, because 4 days later, after he made me play the role of a guy that had a heart attack, I had a real heart attack. No lie, that's a true story. So I still blame Mark for that. And talk about taking one for the team. you're welcome. But one of my most favorite memories is probably a few years ago, 2013 I think it was, that we did a New York City themed Evening of Amore, and Anna Connolly and I had the bright idea. It was stressful, but it was a good idea. We were gonna do a Broadway theme opener, and we had probably 6 to 8 songs that we did from Broadway, and with a bunch of high school leaders, so our Solid Ground volunteers, the sponsors, they all chimed in with us, and we practiced and practiced, and we were flopping big time. It was not going well. The practices weren't going well. I was thinking this is going to be horrible. It's going to be embarrassing. We're not going to do well, but we'll put it at the beginning so it can only get better from there. Well, it turns out that it went really well, so we made all the mistakes we could make in the beginning during the practices, and then when we actually performed it live, we had a blast with it. Everybody was laughing, having a good time. So that was one of my favorite memories, because it was something I totally doubted was going to work, and it turned out to be a great thing, which often happens at Evening of Amore. So don't be fooled. The skits that go well tonight, they probably didn't go so well earlier this week. And also, never trust Mark McConnell if he puts you in a skit. Have a good night.
I've been involved with Evening of Amore since 2004. That year I was asked to help inject some humor into the night. Previously, Evening of Amore had largely been a talent show format where the youth group kids would perform and act and do different things. So I was asked to help put some humor into it, and I ended up writing a skit based on the hit TV show American Idol, which was brand new at the time. And we called the skit Amore Idol. The concept was the kids would do really intentionally awful musical performances, and the 3 judges would have a script and they would have all these terrible things to say. The funny part about it, I guess, was that one of the students didn't quite get the concept of the night, and she wanted to do a serious song. She wanted to perform. So we decided to write her in as a serious act, and she would be the last act of the night, and then we would write it so the judges would just praise her, and basically she'd be the winner of Amore Idol. What ended up happening though, when she got up to do the final number and was, going to be the winner, she froze. She absolutely forgot her song, she forgot her words. It was just one of those moments that every performer dreads, and it became really uncomfortable for everybody that was there. Of course, I've got 3 judges now that are all high school students with a script in front of them to read what a great job she had done. And like I said earlier, she didn't quite understand that it was scripted. So when the judges started praising her, she broke down in tears and literally thought she had just won Amore Idol. Whatever that was, she thought she won. So that was my first writing experience, and probably one of the more memorable ones. 3 years after that, of course, I wrote a script that had Chris Ruckus faking a heart attack. I'll never do that again.
You okay, Dad? Hey, he's just having a heart attack.
I'm sorry, so sorry that I was.
And then last year is probably my most personally cherished memory. It was the Disney night. I wrote a bunch of skits related to Disney, and in one of them, Sharon Felton was kind of the punchline. She kept calling the church office to complain about stuff, and it was just a really funny punchline. And when that skit was over, I was walking back by the auction tables, and I see Sharon out of the corner of my eye coming right at me. And she walked right up to me, she punched me right in the arm, and she said, "That was really funny." And that is one of my last memories of Sharon. And it's one I'll always cherish.